Schrock Innovations presents Nebraska's #1 independent computer repair company with offices in Omaha and Lincoln. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 866-496-8772. Those are the numbers to join us live on the program. If you ask a question or make a comment, we'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Good for anything your heart desires over at the shop. All you have to do is jump on in and ask a question. Any kind of comment question. Could be, there's no such thing as a silly question. That's the thing. Some people in the store, they come in and they're like, I listen to you every week. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You know, why don't you call in? And it's like, I joke with them, like the first half of the show when I'm just talking, you know, it's because I don't have any calls. So I just can't, you know, like this kind of boring. So I talk, you know, that's what I do. But boy, the last couple shows, you know, when I was done with the aftershock, like I was croaking a little bit, my voice was shot, and like I don't know how these big guys in radio do this for 3 hours a day. Maybe that's why all radio guys seem to have their headphones turned up really loud, so they maybe talk really quietly. I don't know, because you know maybe I'm shouting and I shouldn't be. I don't know. All right, so welcome on into Compute This. As always, we are streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can go there. If you can you can actually watch the show live on Facebook. It's kind of cool because you think, why would I watch a radio show? That's kind of silly. But everybody who's done it, after the fact, they're like, oh, this was amazing. I'm going to do this every time now. So that's pretty cool as well. So let me know also, Mark and Winston and everybody else out there, let me know how the level sounds so that we know we're sounding good for everybody. All right, so it's facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. All right, so we have a lot to go over today. It was a crazy week in the shop this week. We had moments of terror. We had moments for tears. We had raucous celebration of technology repair success. Yeah, we had it all. We had planning. And we have a big thing coming here on Monday. So I also have some stories to go over today. IBM now has more workers in India than they do in the United States. Interesting. What does IBM actually do anymore? I thought they were just building like the Jeopardy computer. Well, what do they do now? You know, it's like, that's interesting. All right. So, and last week I got a lot of appreciative comments from Apple users, thanking me for bringing news of Apple products and Apple things. And, you know, we don't talk a whole lot about Apple because most of you have PCs. So, you know, about 8% of you have Macs. So, but that's still 8% of the audience. And it would be rude for me to ignore 8% of my audience, would it not? So we're going to talk about some flaws in your Mac, even if you're running the latest OS X software, which my wife is having a terrible time with on her iPhone right now, her iOS. You don't want to install update 11.0.1, by the way. If you're having trouble with 11, don't think that 11.01 is going to fix it. There's a reason that 11.1 is in beta right now. Don't download it and install it. The iOS 11 is causing people's batteries to drain faster. If you use Apple Mail Exchange servers, 11.01 will fix that. Because you can't get your email right now if you have, you know, iOS 11. So the new iOS 11.0.1 will fix that. But we have some information on flawed MacBook firmware that's leaving you vulnerable to attack. So we're going to talk about that here on the show as well. Also, did you know that most iPhones, most smartphones for that matter, still have FM radio chips in them? But they don't turn them on. Gee, I wonder why Apple, you know, the company that makes bajillions of dollars streaming music to you over the phone, wouldn't want you listening to terrestrial radio. Gee whiz. But here's the funny thing. So the FCC is begging Apple to turn on these chips. And Apple is saying, first it's, well, you know, there's technically no way to turn the chips on. And even if we could turn them on, there's no antenna in there intended to receive FM signals. And maybe it's just me, but when I was a kid, if I got a radio that I found somewhere, like someone was throwing out something in the trash and, you know, you pick it, I'd find this radio and then I'd take it home and try to fix it, except the antenna was broken off, and I would stick like a paper clip in there. I'm pretty sure the body of the phone would work as an antenna. I'm pretty sure they could use your hand as an antenna. I mean, you ever do that? You grab the antenna thing and the signal gets stronger. You're back in the old rabbit ears era. If you held it to two hands, clench it like, and then, wow, I can see the picture, but unfortunately I'm so close to the television I can't enjoy the show. And as soon as you'd let go, the picture would go away. And you have to take turns holding the antenna. You know what I'm talking about, right? And you get to watch till the next commercial break. Tell me what happens. Well, Apple says that the iPhones don't have these chips. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Does the iPhone have an FM radio in it or not? And if so, why isn't Apple turning it on? IKEA bought a company called TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit is a website you can go to. It's part of the gig economy, where you can go and you can actually buy people to do your work for you. So like if you have a task around the house you need to get done, a task, you can hire a TaskRabbit to come in and just do that for you for a small price. Basically, it's a little gig. So you got that door that creaks and you want someone to come oil those hinges, you can put it up on TaskRabbit. Or let's say you bought some furniture at IKEA. Oh yeah, wait for it. If you have ever bought furniture at IKEA and you get those weird genderless pictograph drawings that look like, cave drawings from the 21st century, and it tells you how to assemble the furniture. And at step 27, you realize, if you ever put Legos together, you know what I'm talking about. At step 27, you realize that you forgot the clear piece on step 2, and then you have to take the whole thing back apart, but it's never designed to be taken apart, but you have to take it apart somehow, and then it never quite goes back together the right way again, and you're wondering if you should glue it or screw it or nail it or whatever. If you ever had trouble putting together IKEA furniture, IKEA just bought TaskRabbit, so we'll talk about that if we get to it as well here on the program. A little bit more information on the next version of Windows 10. This is the Fall Creators Update that's coming October 17. That is just days from today, guys. So this thing is coming out October 17. We're going to talk about Schrock Safe Upgrade as well as the new Start menu. That's right, they're tweaking the Start menu in this version. And before you groan, and I know you're all groaning right now, like, why do they have to change stuff? I know where everything is finally. I know you're groaning, but here's the thing. You don't have a choice, so you can groan all you want. You're going to get it anyway. Happy day there. So, yeah, I know it's not cool to talk about it that way, but that's really what they're saying. So we'll talk about that coming up on the show, so you at least know what to expect. And honestly, this update, this little change, is nothing major here. It looks like a change of the font in the Start menu. It's not a big deal, but it looks really nice, actually. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it quite a bit. And then for our web customers out there, business owners, churches, organizations that have websites, Google is now saying that all of their top-level domains will be on secure socket layers now, the HTTPS transport protocol. So why is Google moving all of their top-level domains, such as google.com, gmail.com? A lot of these were already on secure socket layers already to begin with. They have 45 top-level domains like AdWords.com. Do you know actually there was a company, before Google developed AdWords, there was a company that actually was called AdWords, and they had a website, and then Google created Google AdWords, and they ran the AdWords company out of business because they took their name. They sued them for their name because they were using Google's name. But they're like, it was our name first, and that it doesn't matter. Might makes right. Give me your name. So I think they ended up doing that. I don't know if they got a fistload of money at the end of the day or not, but either way. So we'll talk about that for our web clients as well. Speaking of web clients, I did have a couple calls this week from businesses that are interested in becoming portfolio pieces for the new Schrock Interactive website. We are in final content development for that site, so we're literally, we're days away from having the site ready to launch, our site. The other sites that we're doing the portfolio pieces are still in development. I still have a couple, one, maybe two slots left. If you have a business or an organization, like a nonprofit or something, and you're looking for a great deal on a new website, we want to design you a really spectacular website, and we'll do it for 70, 75% off the normal design price. So a lot of people ask me, well, how much is that, Thor? It depends on what kind of features that you want, to be honest. Like, if I quoted a price on the radio and said it's about $1,200 to $1,500, which is usually where it ends up, then someone's going to come back and say, okay, build me Facebook. And I was like, well, that's not $1,200 to $1,500, okay? That's more. Build me Gmail. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit more. But we're talking about business websites, small business sites. It was really great. We actually got a medical office that came over to us and said, hey, we'd like to have this done for our website as well. So good news there. So we're going to talk about that on the program as well. 866-496-8772. 866-496-8772. I'm getting some information that we are chopping and lagging a little bit here on the live stream. I apologize for that. I'm kind of getting some mixed numbers here as well. It just told me, it says I have peak viewers of 0 but 29 minutes viewed. Go figure that out. I haven't been on the air for 29 minutes. It's saying 29 total minutes, and I have 0 viewers right now. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the stream, but hopefully as the show goes on, it will take care of itself. It's Facebook, guys. We do what we can do. Otherwise, you can always listen online. That's right. You can always jump onto iHeartRadio, listen there if you want to, or you can like turn on the radio. Unless you have an iPhone. Yeah, you can't do that. All right, 866-496-8772. Okay, in the shop this week, I mentioned we had times of tears today, and this stuff happens in the shop. And it's not a technician's fault. It's not something that my guys are doing. It's not something that could have been prevented in any way. We have situations at times where computers come into our shop because they're not well. And when we put them on the bench and we work with them, they die or they exhibit a problem. We get a diagnosis and the computer begins doing something it wasn't doing before it came into the store. For example, we had a customer that brought in an Asus laptop for us to work on, and it was having issues. It wasn't working properly. But then when we got it on the bench and started working with it, the screen started flashing, like all the time. It would just flash. It wasn't flashy screen like a Windows 10 update. We've seen that before. We know how to fix that. We removed the drivers, reinstalled the drivers. We put a new – then finally, just to see if it was hardware or software, we put a brand new hard drive in this computer and installed a clean copy of Windows 10. So there was no contamination from the previous drive at all. When we installed that in the computer, we got flashing screen again. So we know it's a hardware problem. And in a laptop, the video card is built into the motherboard. And we checked for BIOS updates. We checked for everything that we could check for. There's literally nothing we could do to get the screen to stop flashing. It was a hardware problem. So we had to call the customer back and tell them, it's a hardware problem. Your motherboard's going bad. And of course, the motherboard wasn't going bad when I brought it into you. It was working fine before. And it very well could have. I'm not calling anybody a liar. It very well could have, but it's just those unfortunate situations. Like, what are you, Schrock Innovations, going to do for me now that you broke my computer? And yeah, it's a real bear when we end up in those situations. We also had it was like a record week. We had the same thing happen in the Omaha Service Center this week, where it was just a comedy of everything that could possibly go wrong in a repair job did. Computer presented, customer had stepped on the screen, cracked it looked like just the digitizer was cracked. Now, normally we don't like to order digitizers. The digitizer is the touch piece. That's what takes your fingerprints and turns them into touches on the screen. Behind the digitizer is just a regular old screen, right? So when you touch your touch screen, you're actually touching a digitizer. You're not touching the screen itself. The screen is behind the digitizer. So we thought, okay, it's a cracked digitizer. We're going to replace the digitizer. Nobody turned on the computer in my shop, which was the mistake that we made. We pulled the hard drive out and tested the hard drive on one of our testing computers because, if it's got a bad hard drive, a lot of times customers may decide not to fix a computer because a hard drive and a screen together usually will exceed the cost of replacing the computer. So we test that kind of stuff so we don't fix a screen, send it out the door, and a month later have a customer have to fix a hard drive. But we're supposed to turn the computer on and test the memory and everything else too. That never got done. So that was our mistake in this case. With the screen, we get the digitizer in, and we take off the shards of glass one by one off the screen, and sure enough, we find that the screen underneath is cracked as well. If they would have turned the computer on, they would have seen that. Or we would have seen that if we would have turned the computer on, but we didn't. So that's a boo on us. So a week later, we order the screen to go behind the digitizer as well. We're not charging the customer for the screen. So the screen comes in and it doesn't fit. It's the wrong screen. They send us an OEM equivalent, which sometimes vendors, if they don't have the exact screen in stock that you need, they'll give you a substitution. And usually the substitution is the same, technically, but this one, it wasn't. It didn't fit physically into the space. Well, that's great. So now let's go order the entire screen assembly, which is the digitizer and the screen all pressed together, ready to go right into the laptop a week later. So now our customer is obviously a little upset. It's been 3-4 weeks. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her a bit, And so we explain everything to her. It was not pleasant, but we told her what was going on, and we ordered this. We got the screen assembly in. We put the screen assembly in. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, this is awesome. We hit the power button. No video. Whoa, what's going on? Do we get a bad screen assembly? That would just be our luck, wouldn't it? How do you test for that? Well, you jack an HDMI cable into the side of the laptop to an external screen, and you turn the computer on. So we do that, and then the computer just starts turning off. Like it runs for 15 seconds and it turns off. Now, anyone who's been listening to the program for a while, if you have a laptop that turns on, runs for between 5 and 15 seconds, and then magically just turns off, you might have remembered on the radio we have diagnosis of bad cooling, the computer's overheating and shutting down, or a power problem. So we disconnect the battery, we do all this stuff, all the internal batteries are disconnected in case it's a bad battery, same problem. So then we turn it on, and Robert says, "Oh, Thor, this thing," and you hover your hand about a half inch over the top of the motherboard, and it was just wicked hot. Like it was like if you turned on your oven, and made some mac and cheese, or your oven. You could make mac and cheese in the oven. You turned on your stove and you made some mac and cheese, and then you turned off the burner and you moved the pot away, and you can hold your hand over the burner and you can feel the latent heat just rising off of it. That's what this felt like. And it was that hot. It was blister your finger hot if you touched it, which I did stupidly. Because, that feels hot. Let me touch it. Ow, it's too hot. I think it's too hot. It burnt me. It's not supposed, there's hot, there's uncomfortably warm, there's hot, and then there's sweet mother of Mary that burnt my finger hot. And you shake your finger like it helps somehow. We find out it's on the other side of the memory. We replace the memory. Maybe the memory's bad. Let's replace the memory. We didn't test it. Anybody test the memory? No, Thor, nobody tested the memory. In fact, nobody turned the thing on until we got the screen in. I'm like, oh no. So sure enough, the motherboard is actually bad. It wasn't the memory. It's the actual board itself. This is just a wickedly expensive motherboard. It's a $400 motherboard. You can buy the unit. The unit's original cost was about $1,000. So now between the $300 digitizer assembly and the $400 motherboard, we're $700 of repair into a $1,000 laptop. So we call our customer back, we explain what happened, and hey, it was booting when I brought it into you, and I can't argue with her because we didn't turn it on. And so lesson learned in the shop, we still learn lessons like this, and it's still, it's a reminder that every system that we have at Schrock is there for a reason. Every system that we have is there because something went wrong somewhere, and we said, to prevent that from ever happening again, let us do this. And some of the guys will come in now, and some of these systems were made like 15 years ago, and they don't know why it's the way it is. They're just told to do it a certain way. And sometimes you know how 22, 26-year-old guys are. They're like, oh, come on, I know better. I'll just skip that step. And then this kind of stuff happens. So this was a good reminder to my staff that we can't skip little steps. The little steps matter. And this was we're doing the right thing with our customer. It's a huge inconvenience for her. She's without her laptop for yet another week. So on Wednesday, we next day air order the $400 motherboard. So it's $445 for this motherboard. Because it's the right thing to do. She tells me the computer booted when it came in. I'm not going to argue with her and tell her there's no way that happened. You stepped on your computer. Come on, I'm not. I don't have the right. We screwed up. I don't have the data to argue that. So we're going to take the customer at her word, and we're going to do the right thing. And we're going to get her back her laptop in working order. So we apologize profusely. I'm on the phone with her, just literally asking her to be patient with us. And she's an incredibly patient woman. She's been very, very kind. And we ordered the motherboard on Wednesday. Now, I knew it was Wednesday evening, and I told her we're probably going to miss the Wednesday shipping cutoff because it was after 6, depending on what coast this place was on. But surely it'll ship on Thursday, and I paid $45 for next day shipping, so it surely will be here on Friday. Friday comes, and Friday goes, and we don't have a motherboard. Saturday, Kyle calls. Hey, Thor, where's that motherboard at? And I'm like, hold on, let me track it. And I go to the vendor where we bought the board to track it. And sure enough, it hasn't shipped yet. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Ugh. All right, Kyle, will you please call the customer and let her know that we did order it? We did pay next day shipping. I see where it came out of my account. They just haven't shipped it. So, yeah, I sent an email because they're not open on the weekend because, only doctors, No, wait, doctors aren't there on the weekends, are they? only we're here on the weekend, apparently. So, okay, well, Monday morning, there's an email waiting for them, and I'll call their 800 number that says, press 2 to leave a message. And when you press 2, it says, I'm sorry, click. I'm sorry, and you hung up on me? Oh, golly. So yeah, we have service problems on our end, too, guys. But basically, that was the crying part of the week. The crying part was boohoo sad. The celebratory part of the week this week is those of you who are taking home your new modular computers, your desktops, might have noticed in the last week that the computers were about 6 to 8 days behind schedule. And those of you who are waiting on builds right now, a few of you are a few days behind schedule. The reason for that is because we've talked about the new Ryzen processors, the new big, fast, super awesome processors. Well, there's some other processors that are coming out too. And those of you who have purchased modular desktops in the last month or have them coming are getting a bit of a free upgrade. So we're going to tell you what's going on there. We got to take our first break of the program. 866-496-8772. Those are the numbers to join us on the show. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put your name in the drawing for the Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Stay with us through the break, and we're going to talk about how Apple has some flawed firmware. You need to know about this. And also IBM officially has more Indian employees than American employees now. How did it happen, and does it matter? We'll tell you next, coming up on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed Symantec endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are 2 products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Service centers Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 866-496-8772. That Mark just commented, you have 22 peak live viewers. Or 21, not 22, because Mark doesn't count himself, apparently. Oh, so sad. All right, 866-496-8772. Well, Mark, that's fine, because you know what? Just like IBM, I could replace my highly skilled, highly paid employees with much lower skilled, lower paid employees from India. Yay! IBM now employs 130,000 people in India, 1/3 of its total workforce, and well under 100,000 people at its American offices. So a third, let me think, so that 1/3, that'd be what, 300, they have about 400,000, 390 to 400,000 employees total, and only 100,000 of them are in America. So a quarter of their employees are in America. and a third of them are in India. As recently as 2002, IBM only employed 6,000 people in India, so it's been hiring roughly 8,000 a year. Also in 2002, IBM employed around 160,000 people in the U.S., been reduced to 105 in 2009 when IBM stopped providing numbers. Gee, I wonder why. All right, so basically, what's going on here is in India, they have a large number. In India, when you speak English in India, when you speak it well, which when you hear someone on a support line, that is someone who in India speaks English very well, top of their class kind of stuff. It is considered a status symbol to speak English in India. That is considered to be, wow. If you want to insult somebody who's on a tech support line, ask them if you can talk to somebody who speaks English. They get really, really, really angry because you're basically telling them that they're no good. You know, that they don't speak English. You're calling them. I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. You're calling them stupid. You're calling them uneducated. You're calling them lower socioeconomic classes than they believe that they are. That would probably be the best way to put it. So that's what really upsets them. So if you're really looking to get under the skin of a person from India, that's what's going to get under their skin. But there's a lot of them over there that speak English now, and a lot of them have computer science, like advanced degrees. We're talking like masters of computer science, things like that. And they're willing to work for the same price per hour as a McDonald's employee in America. And I don't mean the $15 an hour ones either. I mean, we're talking like hey, I'm a kid starting out. I want to get my job at McDonald's and learn service and, learn to come to work on time and all those lessons that, are important to learn in a new first job. As a result, IBM, now here's the thing, is it worth it? Is it working? As the result of all this, IBM has had 22 consecutive quarters of losses. And if you believe the message boards where some current IBM employees hang out, the article on ZDNet reads, this is partly the result of replacing high-skilled, high-paid, experienced, and productive senior employees with low-skilled, lower-paid, and less productive junior employees, whether based in India or not. So interesting thing there, though. You got to wonder at some point, is there going to be a backlash here where I don't understand why India has they have all their app teams in India. Like, so for example, they gave the example of like an airline calls and says, it takes us 22 minutes to rebook a passenger who has a problem with the airline. How do we shrink that? How do we shorten that time up? And the guys in their India lab will just make an app for that airline, like on the fly, and send it out to them. So it's a lot of guerrilla task work. But it's not the same as having a U.S. employee where it would be a more thought out, like, okay, we're going to plan this into your overall structure and we're going to integrate it with your existing software so that it's easy to understand, it flows the same way, things like that. That stuff just isn't happening. So you got to wonder in the long term which approach is better, and we're going to find out. 866-496-8772. Richard, you're the first caller of the program today. How can I help you on Compute This?
My wife has a laptop, and she somehow destroyed the lid to it. And, the screws started coming out of it, and she couldn't open and close it right, and she got it to work for a long time, but eventually the wires came out of it. It wouldn't light up anymore, and now something kind of fried in there.
Oh, boy.
And it won't stay on.
Okay.
So my question is, what we want to do is try to be able to transfer the data off the hard drive to a new computer. And I didn't know if you needed to fix the computer so it would stay powered on to
Sure.
do that, or if you needed to take the hard drive out, or if there's any way to do that.
No, great question. Great question, Richard. Thank you for the call also. The answer is the hard drive is completely separate in most older computers. It's getting to the point now when I talk about chip-on-board computers that everything is built onto that board. And so just like this lady in our shop and the gentleman in the Lincoln Service Center, if the board goes bad, you lose everything. But in your case, that laptop is not set up that way. You have a separate hard drive. It's a separate physical device. And as a result, we can remove that device from the computer, and we can hook it up to a new computer, and we can absolutely transfer everything off of it for you, Richard.
Okay, I was just curious as to what that might cost to do that.
Sure. Data transfer is a flat rate $150 if we do that as an individual service. On the other hand, if you bring your laptop in, we could evaluate it for you. It could be something as simple as a DC jack. Like if your DC jack is bad and that's why it's not staying on, we can replace the DC jack, and then that could fix the entire laptop too. So there's a lot of different ways you can go. But Richard, have you ever been into our service center for anything before?
No, but I listen to your show every week.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know you're a good company, and I just...
No, turn him up.
No,
Sorry, Richard. I was trying to tell him we couldn't really hear you here, but we were taking calls on the other line. So I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you said, Richard?
Oh, I just was mainly curious as to what it would cost to do that. You know, I know you get a first hour of labor free, but...
Yeah, that's where I was going, actually, Richard, is if you come in and use that new customer coupon, tell them you're a new customer and you want the new customer coupon. You don't have to clip it out or print it out or anything like that. Just bring it in and mention it when you come in. You have to mention it. But when you come in and mention, hey, I'm a new customer, I want the new customer coupon, then what we can do is we can apply that $110, that's the first hour of labor. We can apply that directly toward the data transfer, which out of $150 means it's going to be a $40 data transfer. We can apply it. We can apply it toward a repair of the laptop if you'd like. If you're looking for an excuse to get a new one, we can apply that to the data transfer. There's all kinds of different ways we can slice that up for you. But the first step is to get that into the shop so we can take a look at it for you.
Okay, well, thanks for your time. Yeah, appreciate it.
No sweat, Richard. Thanks for the call here. All right, and Richard is in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate as well. 866-496-8772. Going to take our bottom of the hour break here, a little bit late, but close to the bottom. And we'll be back with more coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cybercriminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
O.J. Simpson is out on parole after serving 9 years in a Nevada prison for robbery.
This after midnight Sunday release was rare for the Nevada Department of Corrections, but this is a rare and unique case. This city is also the place where he could return so that he can figure out if he's going to Florida to serve out his parole. Simpson's Florida plans are up in the air, so he will remain in this state for now.
ABC's Kenneth Moton in Las Vegas. People in Spain's Catalonia region are voting today in a referendum on independence that Spain's federal government has deemed illegal. Police blocking some polling stations. ABC's Terry Moran is in Barcelona.
At one polling station here in central Barcelona, almost every person who leaves after voting gets cheered. A great big roar goes up from the crowd, especially for the older voters and the younger ones and families holding newborns in their arms. And the chant goes up, "We will vote." we will vote. The spirit is just incredible.
ABC's Terry Moran, Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Morning downpours will lead to peaks of sunshine by this afternoon and allow our temperatures to climb to 76 degrees. We'll see dry conditions going into this evening, but after midnight, showers and storms are likely to ramp up across the area, leading into Monday morning. By the afternoon Monday, temperatures reach the lower 80s. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Peter Sherwood on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Ooh, very kind of edgy, powerful music today. All right, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers. We can recover data from your failed hard drives, your externals, internals, everything else. And I have to tell you guys, if you don't already have Drive Advisor on your computer, please take a moment to install Drive Advisor today on your computer. Drive Advisor is a program that silently and automatically checks the health of your hard drive. And if your hard drive's health starts to drop, it changes its color, its icon color down by the clock to red to let you know there's a problem. And it sends you an email to tell you, hey, on your computer named whatever, because some of us have more than one computer at home. You want to know the computer name. Drive whatever. Is it my C drive? Is it my external D drive, E drive? What is it? Is having a problem. The health of the drive is at whatever percent. And anything under 100% is a bad drive. This week, I kid you not, we have had 5 Schrock customers who have been in for preventative maintenance checkups this fall. So these are people who were in like 3-4 weeks ago to get their preventative maintenance checkups done, that at the time they came in, their hard drive was at 100% health. And in the intervening time in between, the hard drive started to fail. And as a result, boom, Drive Advisor was there to catch it, to let them know their hard drive was failing, and they were able to get those drives fixed before they ended up in the data recovery lab. Now, trust me, guys, if you need data recovery, I am thrilled to see you in my lab. We take care of our customers. We charge them far less than the industry norm for data recovery because we have all the equipment in our lab. We don't outsource it or send it out anywhere. On the other hand, if I can recover your stuff for you before you have to go into the data recovery lab, it saves you a boatload of money. So just check it out. I'm just telling you, driveadvisor.com, advisor, because that's American, made in America, Drive Advisor. Check it out, install it, download it, install it on your computers. Ask your friends and family to install it on their computers as well. It will save you money if something goes wrong with your computer. And it makes it so, the maintenance checkup is still necessary. You still have to come in for those because there's so many other potential problems you could have with a computer. But the hard drive is the one thing that can fail in between checkups. It can fail dramatically in between checkups. We literally had a customer go from 100% hard drive health, no joke, to 2% in a week. After over 3 individual failures, that thing was dying. And she got all of her data back because Drive Advisor told her it was happening. Drive Advisor is free. It doesn't cost anything. Of course, we provide the software for you. The main reason we made it is because we got tired of situations where we tell you your hard drive is failing and then customers would take it to another shop somewhere else that doesn't have the same level of testing capability that we have, and they would tell them the hard drive is fine. And so then the customer's left to decide, well, somebody's lying to me. One guy says it's bad and wants to charge me money. The other guy says it's fine and doesn't, charge me a diagnostic fee. So which guy is right? Drive Advisor is an independent arbiter. You can run it yourself at home, and it will tell you. It runs the same sophisticated tests that we run in the shop, and it will tell you if your hard drive is failing. Now you don't have to take someone's word for it because you can know for yourself with Drive Advisor, and you can know when it happens as opposed to hoping every 6 months you get a little update, and you kind of cringe when you bring it in. Kind of like when you go to the dentist and you think you might have a cavity, but you don't want to go in because you really would rather not know because once you know you have a cavity, then you have to do something about it. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But with Drive Advisor, it's like having 24/7 cavity control. Yeah, Drive Advisor. Brush twice daily, recommended by most dentists. All right, 866-496-8772. Those are the numbers to join us on the program today. Ask a question or make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for the Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Windows 10 next year, it says. Microsoft shows off a new look, and for the start menu, starring what they're calling Fluent Design. Microsoft's latest Windows 10 Redstone 4 preview shows where it's heading with its new design language. Well, this is a whole bunch of wonderful technical garbage that you don't need to know. Blah, blah, blah. More of its Fluent Design in the start menu. It's going to be released in a few weeks. actually a few days now. This was written before. It has a bunch of bug fixes, and you can see how Microsoft's implementing its new design language, Fluent Design, in Windows 10, because we all really care how Microsoft is putting a new design language into Windows 10. Here's what I care about. Why does it look different? They changed the font in the start menu a little bit, and honestly, I find it's a little bit easier to read. It's a little bit less typewriter-ish than the current font is. So like when I click on my start menu now, it pops up, and I see, like, okay, it almost looks, I don't know, it's not quite Times New Roman, but anyway, it's I think it's a little easier on the eyes. If you move your mouse over the apps in the start menu, each one will display a little box as you mouse over them, and basically it'll tell you what the app is or what it's doing, so that if you see something new in your start menu, you're not sure why it's there, you can hover over it and it'll tell you what it is. It's kind of nice. So again, these are some little features that are coming out in days to Windows 10 users, and Windows 10 users will have no choice as to whether or not they are going to download this update. Eventually, your computer will. Now, I say eventually because I've had some people ask me, hey, Thor, if I'm not at my computer on the 17th of October when this is released, and as a result, I don't end up, I get this update automatically, or I'm not there to run my Schrock Safe upgrade that I'm buying, will the update just come through into my computer automatically and then just get done? I don't want that to happen. I want it to be installed in a controlled way through the Schrock Safe update. Here's the thing. Microsoft is not going to push this out to every single user at the same moment in time. They're going to stretch it out over months. So the odds of you getting it at release time, like boom, getting it, are super minimal. The second thing is, it is an absolutely epic download. This thing is like a 3 gigabyte download. 3 gigabyte download. It is huge. That's almost a full DVD. This is an entire new version of Windows, guys. This is not a patch. This is not a service pack. This is not an update. This is an upgrade. You're going from the version of Windows 10 you have now to this new super awesome version with a new Fluent Design language. It's an upgrade. Just like if you were going to upgrade your computer from Windows XP to Windows 7, or from Windows 7 to Windows 8, or from Windows 8 to Windows 10. It's the same thing, except you're not having to open your wallet for this upgrade. Microsoft is giving it away for free. The only trade-off is, if you want to use Windows, you will get the update. There is no choice. You will get the update. Okay? So, where would you rather have that update installed? Those of you who have, Microsoft has released 3 such upgrades in the past. This will be the 4th one. The previous 3 have all cataclysmically caused problems with people's computers. Microsoft is aware of this. That's why they slowed down the release schedule a little bit. People are still going to have the same problems. It's just they won't have them all at the same time, and it'll be a little harder to blame it on the update. You know what I mean? So what we do in the shop is the updates, or upgrades as we're calling them, tend to fail for specific sets of reasons. Some of those reasons are simple, like, hey, you have a virus, or hey, your hard drive is bad, or hey, your third-party software is not up to date. So the Schrock Safe upgrade is going to check for that stuff. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you do these updates, if they do fail, you could have little annoying problems like your start menu doesn't work or your screen flashes. That's the flashy screen thing we talked about a while back. Things like that can happen. Or it could be something far worse, like the computer comes back up again and it says, sorry, update failed, and all of your stuff is gone. That's really bad news. And then people usually try to get it back. They try to do a rollback or a restore point or something, and then they end up, writing stuff to the disk, which means we can't recover their software. So I would much rather have a scenario where you bring that computer into us and have us install this upgrade for you on the bench in a controlled environment where we can test your hard drive and test your memory, make sure your fans are working right, make sure there's no reason that your computer is going to get interrupted in the middle of the update or fail for some stupid reason in the middle of the update. The problem is, the last time we had 1,000 computers into the shop on a specific day, we got a little overwhelmed. It was pretty crazy. And even working at beyond peak efficiency, we were not able to keep up. So this time what we did is we had the innovators at Schrock Interactive develop some software for us that will not only speed up the process on our bench for our technicians so they can basically fire and forget on a computer rather than manually doing everything. We're making the software available to you on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. As of right now, there are 90 in stock, 90, out of 1,000 originally available. So you can check it out at SchrockInnovations.com. If you click on shop and then click on specials, you can take a look. It's called the Schrock Safe Upgrade. And you need one for each computer that you want to upgrade safely. The nice thing about the Schrock Safe Upgrade is you do it at home yourself. But if something goes wrong, you have a 30-day warranty from Schrock Innovations to make it right. So we'll go back in and find that information on the hard drive and bring it back to the front. We'll go in and find out why the update failed and try to make it go through for you. There's all kinds of different things. You have a 30-day warranty. We're going to make it work. We're going to find a solution that gets you the upgrade, gets you up to date and current so that your computer does the things you want it to do. That's what we do at Schrock. That's our mission. So Schrock Safe Upgrade, $49.99 a copy. If you come in and do it on the bench in the shop, we can do it on the bench for you because I know there are some people who just don't want to buy things online. So, you know, they can come into the shop. It's going to run like $75 to have us do it in the shop. So it's about $25 more to have it done by a technician in the shop. And the technician in the shop is just going to run this software. So you may as well save the $25 and do it yourself at home. So $49.99 available right now, 90 in stock at SchrockInnovations.com. 866-496-8772. Going to take our final break of the program. Then Frank, Doug, and Scott, your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure, your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 866-496-8772. Walls are being framed in the new Papillion Service Center in probably November, December-ish. We're going to be moving to our new location on 84th and Highway 370 in Midlands Place. If you haven't tried Ollie and Hobbs, the restaurant next door there, it is amazing. Try them. There's a Sports Clips there. You can get your hair cut. There's PenFed Credit Union. You can do your banking. There's a motel there, so if you're in trouble with the missus, you know, you got a place you can crash. And, you know, if you know, you have a heart attack or something, there is a hospital right there, too. So, I mean, it's pretty darn convenient, all right? 866-496-8772. We're going to be moving out there in the fall. We haven't talked a whole lot about why we're moving out there in the fall. So during the After Schrock, which is available on Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what's coming to the Papillion Service Center. Is going to be a model for a new and improved, I want to say 21st century, but it's been 21st century for a while. That's not really new anymore. But there are certain types of repairs that Schrock is not geared for right now. And the Papillion Service Center is going to be changing that with new systems and new implementations, things that are going to allow us to continue to support your technology as you go more mobile in the future. So we're going to talk about that during the Aftershock. I promise it won't be as boring. There's intrigue. There's betrayal. I'm serious. There is, I don't know, business versus business, prize fighting. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it's going to be good. So make sure you stay tuned for the Aftershock. Have I built it up too much? All right. 866-496-8772. Frank, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Good morning. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Well, we switched internet providers here in Lincoln to Allo.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've heard good things about Allo.
It's been pretty good, except we got, I have a modular, and then we have an Asus and an HP in the house.
Yep.
And they're not drawing in about a third of what we're paying for, but, our phones will pull in about 100 meg a second, but laptops are doing about 25 downloads.
Gotcha. When you did Allo give you equipment too?
Yes. Yeah, we have one of those gig centers.
Okay, and they gave you a wireless router or just a modem?
No, they just give us their gig center, and it's a wireless router built in.
Gotcha. It's got the built-in wireless router. All right. So there's a couple ways. When we want to test internet speed, the reliable way to test it is take a computer that has a wired connection directly to the modem, which in this case would be your gig center. Plug that into the back, and then you can go to speedtest.net, or you can just Google, speed test. There's tons of speed test websites out there. And you run a speed test over the wire, not the wireless. And then that will tell you what your modem is actually giving you at that moment in time. Try to make sure there's no other computers online, that no one's streaming in the house, because that will obviously read kind of like water pressure. If one guy's taking a shower upstairs and someone downstairs flushes the toilet, the guy in the shower really, he feels the pain. So make sure that no one's doing anything with the internet when you do the speed test. It takes a minute. It's not bad. They can let go for a minute, and then run the speed test. And if the speed comes back significantly less than what you're paying for through Allo, because here's the other thing too. Most internet providers, they say you get up to this speed. So you're not guaranteed that speed. You're up to that speed. But on the other hand, most providers that provide gig level internet regularly exceed the up to as part of their standard operating procedure. So basically, do the speed test first. Let's make sure you're actually getting the signal to the gig center first. Once we know that the modem is capable of cranking out a signal of that speed, wireless internet is inherently, in most cases, going to be slower than wired internet. There's a couple reasons for that. Now, the newer 802.11 AC wireless, which the holiday special, the 2017 holiday special laptop and desktop will both have wireless AC connections. Those can actually be as fast as a wire. But most laptops and devices out there right now still have wireless N connections. And the N connection is about a third to a half as fast as a wire. So 1/3 to 50% of the speed of a wired connection. As a result, you're going to get a slower internet speed than you would if you were connected with a wire. Now, on the other hand, if you're in a situation now where you're saying, we used to get this much wireless speed before we switched to Allo, and now on the same devices, the wireless speed is lower, but my phones are getting a higher speed. The reason that's happening is because Allo has given you an AC router. You didn't have an AC router before. You had an N router. Now, the AC router is backward compatible to N, but the AC speeds in all of your modern smartphones, your iPhone 6 Plus up, your Samsung Galaxy, I think the S7, maybe the S6 was the first one to have the AC transceiver in it. But they're all going to get AC speeds as well. So your phones are going to get the benefit because they have the proper receivers for that. Your computers up to about, well, heck, even basic model computers now almost all come with N adapters in them. The holiday special last year came with an N adapter in it. Because the AC technology, while it can be faster, it's not as resilient. It doesn't go through walls as well, for example. So when you have people living in older homes, AC signals tend to get shredded pretty good, whereas N signals are a little more robust. They'll go through more stuff. So that would explain why your wireless stuff isn't, your wireless N stuff is not performing at the same level as your phones are. So do the wired speed test first. If you're getting the right speed from your device, the solution then is we can actually replace the wireless transceivers in both your desktop and your laptop with wireless AC transceivers. We can actually upgrade those. And so then you'd have that wireless AC speed in your older devices as well.
Oh, that's probably what we'll have to do because they're all ends, and our last Wi-Fi router was an end, and that makes sense. Everything else is running off AC.
Yep, absolutely, and that's that's where everything is going. In fact, at Schrock, we love the TP-Link routers, and so we're actually upgrading the router that we carry as our common stock router to an AC model this year, right when we do the holiday special, because next year our entire line of computers is all going to be AC.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate the call. 866-496-8772. I mentioned our computers next year, and earlier I kind of alluded, if you have a desktop build, especially a desktop build, and you've been waiting for it over at Schrock, the reason you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal is because we are upgrading our model line. This is always a tricky time to do this because if you're that person who just came in and bought a modular desktop, and then we upgrade the model line, you're like, oh, what the heck? I'm missing out. I don't get I want the new stuff. And we know that. So that's why we start upgrading people like a month before. We deliver more hardware than we promise a month before, then we announce it. Then when people call us and they're upset because they didn't get the new computer, we tell them, no, you did get the new computer. Take a look. And they're like, oh, cool. I like it. But the new computers at Schrock, the new model line, which we'll be talking all about in our holiday special catalogs coming out toward the end of the month, faster hard drives, faster memory, faster processors. Everything faster, faster, faster. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be thrilled with the computers that you're getting at Schrock, and the holiday special is no exception this year. It is going to blow your mind. But we got to get through some of this other stuff first. We got to get through the Schrock Safe upgrade first. We got to get everybody upgraded. Got to get that done. Monday, 1/3 of our Symantec endpoint customers will be getting a robocall from me asking you to update or to renew your antivirus software. October is the month when almost everybody did it originally. That's why you're all going to get calls on Monday. You're going to get a call on Monday. 1/3 of our customers are going to get a call Monday. When that happens, make sure you press 1 to call back right away or call us back as soon as you get home to renew your antivirus software. Normally, we really hold people's hands, and we're really hesitant to cut people off if they don't, renew because maybe they didn't get the message or something. But with 1/3 of our customers calling at one time, we don't have a whole lot of time for hand-holding this time around. We're going to do our best to make sure everybody's taken care of, but please call us back right away and renew. All right, today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, is Frank. Congratulations, Frank. You got yourself in there, you sniper. And then we'll be back next week for another exciting edition of Compute This.
So let me drop that down to a microphone boost of 20, of 10, and then I'm going to boost OBS hotter here. All right, so now, last chance. So we're going to see if it's still any better now. So hopefully it's better. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Yes, sounds like you have laryngitis. I'm a little scratchy, but not that bad. Yeah, I can't hear what's going on. Good now. Fine now. Is it really good? All right, we are good. Woo! All right. Remind me, Mark, next week to reduce the microphone boost in OBS because it's going to be bad if that goes on the air like that. It's going to be hot. All right, so I forgot what I was talking about, but anyway. So the new Papillion Service Center, it was really cool. I got to stand in the space, and they've got the demising wall framed. All the demising walls are framed, and the front counter wall is framed. So I can actually stand in the space now and visualize what it's going to be like in there. It's really cool. We also got some new tools in the Papillion Service Center this week for our guys to start playing with. And the big thing that we're going to start doing coming soon here, and it kind of sounds silly, like, wow, it's super exciting, Thorpe. Well, we're going to start fixing phone screens and tablets now. It's something that we've always shied away from doing. Phones and tablets are not computers. And computer repair is a very, very different beast than tablet and phone repair is. And if you've ever taken your computer to a phone repair place to have it fixed, you know that. Because with phones, it's a do it now, do it fast kind of thing. You can fix phones in a mall kiosk. You don't need a lot of square feet to fix a phone. You don't need a lot of tools to fix a phone. You don't need a lot of equipment or electricity. You just need the parts and you need the talent. And so our guys have the talent to do the work. They fix their own phones. They're not too excited to fix customers' phones though, because they're used to a repair environment where customer drops off a computer and we've got a day to 2 days to get the job done, and we can test everything super thoroughly and we can make absolutely sure everything is perfect when it goes back out the door. The challenge is with mobile phone repair, we need to complete the repair in a half hour to an hour, and it still has to be perfect, and we won't have time to test everything. Yeah, there's ways to do it. There's ways it can be done, but these are systems that we're going to have to build at Schrock. These are not things that our service centers were ever designed to accommodate. We don't have a holding area to hold phones, for example. Our floors are all like solid concrete with tiny little wooden shelves to hold stuff. I had an itch on my back. That's not conducive to glass devices. So we've got some work to do to make that better. And the tools that we have in the shop, I'm of the opinion, and it's not unique, if you have the right tools, you're going to get better results on the job. And so we have some employees that used to work at other cell phone repair shops in town. And we ordered in all the tools required to do the job. I mean, literally, I got the entire. If I thought maybe we could use that, because I've never done phone repair myself before. My guys have, but I was at home. I'm like, I'm gonna order all these tools. So I order all, and I'll go into all the tools. We'll do a whole segment on all the different tools and how they work and everything. But we ordered in all these tools, right? And they all came in. And Robert, who used to work for a cell phone repair shop, literally freaked out when he saw the tools. And I thought he was freaking out because he's like, I left that place because I didn't want to fix phones anymore. And now here I am in a computer shop and I'm happy. And now you're going to make me fix phones. Oh, no, that's not why he was freaking out. He was freaking out because when he was fixing phones at that other place he used to work, the entire table of tools that I bought, he picked up one tool. It's called a spludger. It's a plastic tool. It's got a point on one end and a flatness on the other side. And it's used for separating seams without, if you ever pried on plastic with a screwdriver, it leaves those little white marks in the plastic. You don't want that when you're opening someone's phone. They're going to notice that. So you have a special tool that goes around and pries apart without leaving marks. It's called the spludger. He said, this is the only tool they gave me to fix phones and iPads with. He said it would literally take me an hour to get an iPad open with this tool alone and a heat gun. We have all the heatable elements, like it's basically a bag of sand that you heat in the microwave, and then you lay it on the screen. And what it does is it loosens all the adhesive under the screen. So then you take your proper tool, your spludger and your jimmy, and this really cool thing. It's two suction. It's like a pair of pliers. You squeeze them, but it's got suction cups on the ends instead of plier things. And they're reversed. So you pull them open and you set them on the screen and the back of the device, and you push them down. You get it all nice and warm and gooey, and then you squeeze, and it pops the screen right out. And he said, oh my gosh. So my daughter's iPad speakers weren't working, and we took it to a place in town that I previously had work done for on my phones and other devices, because we didn't do that repair at Schrock. And so I was happy to have someone who knew what they were doing. My guys could have done it for me. They offered to do it for me, but let's take it someplace that has the right tools. At this point, I didn't know that most places in town don't have the right tools. They just, whatever they need to get the job done. And the tools are not expensive. We're talking, guys who work on cars, the right tools, you're going to drop $1,000 plus on the right tools to work on cars. To work on phones, like the tools, it's like $200. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot, right? So Kevin uses the new tools, gets the iPad apart, says it came apart way easier than I expected it to. And then he said that's because they didn't use a lot of tape when they put it back together. And the reason that they fixed the speakers, the plugs just came out. They put the plugs back in, but he said they used the tiniest little bit of tape to put them on. It's like the tape's not expensive. It's like $12 a roll. And see, this is the difference between employees and management. Is I'm thinking $12 a roll, and it's a 12-foot roll, so it's $1 a foot. And on an iPad, if you're going to go around the whole outside edge of the iPad, it's 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. So that means one roll fixes 4 iPads for $12. That begins to tell me that is your largest consumable cost in a repair job, because you use the tape and you never get it back. And if you have to take the device apart twice for some reason, you're going to use double the tape because you can't reuse it once it's separated. It's no good anymore. So sure enough, he got my iPad open in the place that we had taken it, which I'm not naming very deliberately. Used just like the dinkiest amount of tape to put it back together, and you could tell that I know the guy who fixed it over there is good. I know I would hire him if I'm not so crass as to go into one of my competitors' establishments and offer to hire away his people. That's pretty low class. I'm not above putting out a Facebook video saying, hey, we're looking to hire people with phone repair experience, and we have an opening in our Papillion Service Center right now that seems to be right across the street from where other people fix phones. So if you might know anybody, I'm not beyond that. But nevertheless, it was exciting to see my guys excited about fixing phones and excited about fixing tablets because they know the way we do things. They know that we're going to have the right tools to get the job done right the first time. Now, here's the funny part. None of our systems are designed for phones. Like when you bring your computer in, we put like a white sticker on the back of your computer that has a Schrock tag number that identifies that computer. And then that way, if we ever see that computer again, we have a work history of what we've done to the computer. Imagine people's reactions when we stick a permanent file folder label on the back of their pretty little iPhone. Yeah, it ain't going to last long, right? You're not going to like that. So that's the first thing that happens when anyone ever checks anything in at Schrock. So when I tell you that our systems are not built for phone repair, that's what I mean. Like even the most basic, earlier in the program, I started off the program talking about simple systems, small things, little important steps that you may not even remember why they're important anymore, but they're important. Well, that's pretty important, being able to identify whose device is whose, especially when you think all laptops look alike, all iPhones look alike, okay? So, we've got some work to do, and that's what we're doing with the Papillion Service Center. It's completely retrofitted with a new system, and we're considering doing something on the grand opening that would be pretty nuts. We're still working on the details, but we're thinking about doing like a free phone repair day where we don't charge labor. So it's just the cost of the parts, and we'll fix your phone. And, so we're considering that. I don't know if we're going to do that or not, but we're thinking about it as a grand opening thing to kind of kick off our mobile phone repair stuff. But we're gonna have bus benches, we're gonna have TV segments, we're gonna have radio shows. You're gonna hear in the show me talking more about mobile devices than I have in the past. We're gonna kind of broaden away from computers into more iPhone related stuff. You've heard the iOS stories coming out, things like that. So yay, fixed. So anyway, that's basically the gist of what's going on there in the shop. The semantic thing, guys, for those of you watching still, I believe there's like 25 of you still watching. Let me check here. Yep, roughly. 28. Okay. So we are going to be placing a call to 1/3 of Schrock Innovations endpoint users tomorrow, telling them to call us back to renew their semantic endpoint. Please, 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 if you get that call, please call us back and renew your endpoint, so we don't have to call you a second time and a third time. To give you an idea of what we're talking about here, we have it's about a third to a quarter. We have about 1,200 subscribers that are coming up for renewal at the start of October. As a courtesy, we tell you, hey, you're ending in October. Some of you end October 1st. Some of you are ended today, but I'm not going to push a bunch of people into the store on Sunday to renew their endpoint. Please don't call today about it. We'll call you tomorrow. We're not geared up for that today. So we just tell you, if you renew in October, you're good, right? But the problem is we have to call you and call you and call. We call like 4 times, once a week, basically. And then, so we have 1,200 calls going out for the month of October. But then in September, we have about 500 people for some freaky reason that have not renewed yet. So we have to call all of them and tell them they're expired and that it's going to be deleted in 24 hours off their computer unless they call us back. So those people are all going to call back at the same time as the 1,200 other people are going to call back, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So please, tomorrow, if you get a call from us, please be patient. Let us know. Let us know if there's a problem, if you have a bad experience, obviously. But please understand, I've got 3 people in my service centers or 2 people in my service centers, and even though we only send 1 call a minute on those robocalls, so we're not even going to be able to send all the calls in one day. That's how many there are to send. So when you get the call, please call back or press 1 to be transferred, and you'll get a call back. You'll get back in. Even if you don't want to renew it, press 1 and tell us, hey, I don't want to renew my endpoint. The main reason most people, because we call them all manually at the end too, because some people just don't, you hear a robocall, they just hang up. So we call everybody before we cancel them and say, hey, I'm a human being, and are you sure you want me to cancel your endpoint? Because people don't realize if they buy a new computer, you can move your subscription from the old computer to the new computer. That's the number one reason why a lot of people get rid of it. We sell a lot of computers in the fall. So a lot of computers, when people replace them, they happen to be replaced in the fall. So that would explain why we have a large number of September users that are not renewing, when usually we have like a dozen. To have this many is pretty anomalous. So we're going to have all those people renewing that are expiring that are like, okay, yeah, I need to do that. And then we're going to have all the 1,200 people we're calling. So if you get a call, please respond to the call. Also, one last request for you. If you have a moment to do so, I would greatly appreciate it if you could review us on Google or Facebook. Facebook is great too, but Google is where it really, really matters. And one of the things that I try to do, and there's a lot of ways, we all know, like I try to support local businesses. We went to a local pumpkin patch, and I'm not talking Vallas. We went to Vallas too. That was fun. They are local as well, but we went to a local pumpkin patch. This was a family who lives in a little house that farms a great big field, and they grow a lot of squashes and gourds and pumpkins and stuff. And we got a wheelbarrow full of pumpkins for $30. It's like in Omaha, it's like 120th and Military. They had tons of pumpkins left out there. There was a play area for the kids. There's no admission price. You just walk up. It was hard to figure out who to pay because it's the lady that owns the house. She's just standing there in jeans and a shirt. You just have to look for the big wad of cash in her hand. That's how you know who to pay. But we got a great deal on some pumpkins. We try to support local businesses. And one of the ways that I try to do that, being with Schrock Interactive has taught me that Google reviews will make or break a business. And I'm not talking about like 3-star reviews or 4-star reviews. I'm talking about it seems to be binary. If people have a bad experience, they leave you a 1-star review. And if people have a great experience, they leave you a 4 or a 5. If you enjoy listening to the show, if you have been into our service centers before and you enjoy the work that we try to do for you, the products like Drive Advisor that we give away for free, if you would take a moment of your time to leave us a 5-star Google review, I would really appreciate it. It goes so far. So many people online make their decisions based on reviews. Literally, if we add 10 reviews right now, our level of business in the service centers will go up by about 15% next week. That's the difference that 10 reviews can make. So now what I do is when I go out and I make an effort, I have a goal for myself that I want to leave 3 positive reviews a week, because it's hard to do positive reviews. Everyone does negative reviews, but it's like when you have good service or a good experience, you're happy, you leave, right? Yay, that was great. I'm going to come back. I'm going to give them more of my money. I'm going to do more business with them. But the review is actually worth more than your money, believe it or not. If we could pay for reviews, I might consider doing it. Yeah, not saying paying for fake ones, but saying like, hey, I'll give you a $15 Starbucks gift card if you leave us a review. You're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. So if you could take a moment to leave us, especially a Google review, it doesn't matter whichever service center you've been to. If you can only find one of them, great. It would mean the world to us and our guys, especially if there's a particular employee that you can single out in your review that helped you out. You have no idea what it does for these guys when they get those kind of reviews. So thanks for listening to the Aftershock. I'm looking to see if we have, I got to do the last call for questions. Yeah, Yelp, Thomas. Woo, yeah. Thomas just mentioned we need some help on Yelp as well. Here's the thing about Yelp. We have tons of 5-star reviews on Yelp. If all of our legitimate reviews were counted on Yelp, we would have a 4-star Yelp review rating. Unfortunately, if you don't pay to be on Yelp, their platform is extraordinarily aggressive at detecting fake reviews. So me asking you to go review me right now, if you go review me on Yelp right now, you will see your own review as being published on our site. But if you log out of Yelp and go look at our ranking, your review won't be there. But if you leave me a 1-star review on Yelp, your review will be there. And then Yelp calls me and says, yeah, it looks like, you've got some reviews on here, and, we have some products and some platforms that can help you, respond to people, maybe resolve some of these issues and get your review score up a little bit, because, people make decisions online based on Yelp. Here's the thing. People over the age of 50 have no idea what a Yelp is for the most part, and people under the age of 25 understand that Yelp is a place where people complain. It's a complaint service. That's all it is. The only thing Yelp is used for is bad reviews. So if you want to find out where not to go, you use Yelp. If you want to find out where to go, you use Google. Because Yelp doesn't publish positive reviews unless you pay. and they've been sued for it before, and they walk that line so perfectly well that if you pay for it, you're in. And it's not cheap either. It's like $400 a month. And we had a conversation. My wife and I sat down and had a conversation last weekend, and she looked at me and she said, "You're just being proud." And I'm like, "It's not pride. I don't want to be extorted. I don't want to pay them so that they'll report the truth about our reviews. I don't want to do that. And why would I push people toward the Yelp platform and ask you to leave me a review on Yelp when their review won't even be seen?" So basically, if you're someone who reviews on Yelp regularly and you post a review on Yelp, your review might come through. If you're someone who has never posted on Yelp before, you're detected as probable spam, and you're not allowed to go through, even if your review is completely legitimate. So it's kind of frustrating. It's actually really frustrating. All right. Yeah, Thomas, and you can Google it too, Thomas. If you Google the Yelp and pay to play, you'll find that they've been sued for that before, but they legally walk the line just so perfectly. So they can't say, they say it's all algorithmic. And yeah, I'm sure it is algorithmic. They algorithmically discount any 5-star review that's not left by someone who is a diehard Yelper. Like if you have somebody who reviews everything on Yelp, their review will go through just fine. But it's those customers, those new customers, like if I said on the radio, "Go review me on Yelp now," and 100 people reviewed me on Yelp, Yelp would say these people have never been on Yelp before, and they haven't been on Yelp since. And the only review they ever left was a single 5-star review for one company at the same time that 99 other people left a single 5-star review for that company. The odds are that all 100 of those reviews were purchased from some guy in India doing it on a computer. Therefore, we are going to discount all of them. And they do. So they're just very aggressive. They'll argue they're very aggressive about detecting fake reviews. Anybody knows that has anything to do with the internet now, any web design companies, SEO guys, they'll all tell you, you never, ever, 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 ever buy yourself reviews. You will always get caught in the end. If you want to influence the review game, you do so by leaving your competition negative reviews, which is, I'd like to thank Miles this week for the 1-star Facebook review he left us. Miles is the husband of our former web coder that we had, that told me she was having her spleen removed or her liver operated on, some dire surgery. And we gave her the week off, even though she already used all of her time off. We gave her the week off, and I paid her for it because I don't want my employees worrying about how they're going to pay the rent when they're having liver surgery. Focus on you. Focus on getting healthy. Don't worry about the money. I will pay you. Just get better and get back. We have work to do. And instead, I saw on Facebook that she was posting pictures from Ireland. She went on an Irish vacation instead of having surgery done on her vital internal organs. And yeah, she was fired after that. So her husband left me a 1-star review. Out of nowhere, we haven't even talked about her. I haven't thought about her in she was before Alfonso was in. That's when we hired Alfonso. So it's more than 2 years ago. And her husband just, out of the blue, gave me a 1-star review for no reason. So that was pretty fun. So anyway, enough complaining. Any other questions for the show? I don't want to be a complainer. But if you have a positive experience, you have something great to say, you have no idea the joy that your reviews bring to my heart and the hearts of my employees. It's hard not to take this stuff personally. When you run a business, when it's what you do and it's what you identify, I've had people offer to buy Schrock from me before, and I've never sold it because I'm just it's what I do. And if I take that away, I don't know what I would do. What would I get up in the morning and do? I mean, I work out, yeah, right. I could eat more donuts. Yeah, that's what I would do. Hy-Vee donuts, delicious. But yeah, so we never sold it. We never done anything like that. But yeah, it's when somebody leaves a 1-star review, and that's why they did that. They know that I see it and that it gets to me. But when people leave 5-star reviews for us, regardless of the platform, even if they leave them on Yelp, I know that they're real, and I get an alert when they place the 5-star review. Even if Yelp doesn't count it, I know it's there. So it makes me feel good. It lets me know that even though we had 2 horrible situations this week in the shop where people's motherboards died in their laptops on the bench, that usually happens once a year, but to have 2 in a week is just in 2 different shops. It's not a fun call to make. So to have that happen twice this week, and then to see a bunch of positive reviews, that's great. It makes you feel really good. All right. Any other questions? This is your last chance. How do I get to the Google review area? All right. Let me post a new link here. Let me see what I can do. Let's see. So we're going to go, if you Google Schrock Innovations, you got to put the space in there, and review. Okay, there's the Yelp review. We have 3 reviews in 18 years, 19 years almost. We have 3 reviews on Yelp, but we're up to a 2.5 star rating. Yay. But then if you go down further, there's another one that has a 1 star rating with 4 reviews because they do the locations separately. There's the Facebook reviews. You can find all those links there for Yelp and everything. But if you go for Schrock Innovations, so if you go to Google and you type Schrock Innovations, Lincoln, for example, Schrock Innovations Lincoln, it's going to bring up on the right-hand side the little Google business listing. It'll say the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, 51 Google reviews, a 3.8 rating, with the address and the hours and everything there. And you can click Write a Review. The last Google reviews we have for Lincoln, for example, I couldn't be happier with their service. One below that says, I wouldn't recommend Schrock to anyone based on my personal experience. And the one below that, I've had the technicians of the Schrock desk help me several times. So you can see here that let me see the C rating here that was a negative rating, and I'll tell you, the negative rating that we got that said that the guy would never do work or never work with us again is Corey Lucas. He has 73 contributions and he's from Illinois. And if I look at my database, we've never worked on a Corey Lucas. So, as I said before, if you want to blast your competition, if you want to cause your website to go above somebody else's website, you leave them negative Google reviews, and no one ever checks for that. You don't get caught leaving negative reviews for somebody else, because why would anybody buy negative reviews? I wouldn't buy negative reviews for myself, right? So why would you even check for that? Well, if my competitors leave negative reviews, it pushes me down, which in essence elevates them. So it's kind of fun. It's not fun at all. It's really, really frustrating. But on the other hand, I have to believe eventually Google will sort this out, and eventually they will make this right, because they're not stupid. They know this is going on too, and they'll be able to tell who has the real reviews and who has the fake reviews, and eventually it'll get through. It's the people that annoy me are the people like Yelp that just do their thing. They do the same thing. They sell the reviews, basically. They sell access to the reviews, to the information. All right. Keith wants a good deal on an old Cray mainframe. I have no idea where I would find one of those. And I really don't know that you're interested, Keith. You gonna mind with that? Funeral insurance for computers. I get a message that Internet Explorer has quit working when I try to sign on from your link to Google. Okay, don't use Internet Explorer, Ronnie. That's bad. Bad. Use Chrome or Firefox or Edge. Don't use Internet Explorer. It's not a safe browser anymore. You will get infected regardless of what you're running for antivirus software if you keep using Internet Explorer. Jonathan writes, having been on the recipient of compliments and complaints, a single compliment can change the course of not only your day, but a whole week. You are absolutely right, Jonathan. I have to tell you, it literally makes us sail when we get those positive comments. And customers, they look at the pictures on our Facebook page when we're eating cookies or whatever. Look at those guys' faces. Like, a customer brings them cookies, and there are some things that customers bring, and we look at it and we're like, that was kind of them. And then you say, why don't you try it first? And then there's we know the customers who make the best cookies. We know who they are because they bring them all the time. We're like, here's some cookies, and we're like, oh my gosh! And the customer, we were doing the Windows 10 upgrade, and I mentioned on the radio that we were in there at 6 in the morning. And, Kevin was in one of the service centers, and he'd worked all night. And at 5:50 in the morning, a customer rolls up outside and knocks on the window. And Kevin's like, what the heck? Are you serious? It's 5 in the morning. We're not open. And he looks out there, and the guy's waving at him and holding up a box. And Kevin opens the door, and the guy's like, I brought you donuts because I know you were working late. Well, look what? It's been 3 years, and we still talk about that story. Or the guy that brought one of my employees a rack of ribs. No joke. A picture on our Facebook page, one of my employees holding up a rack of ribs. Yeah, boy, barbecue tonight. It's when you do service so well that customers, they treat you to things like that. It lights you up. It lights up the employee. It lights me up. And then that reverberates through to all of our customers then. Because when my guys are buzzing like that, it's a great thing. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys, because my voice isn't going to hold out much longer. But I appreciate the reviews and everything. Let me give you the link here. This is the link for the Lincoln Store. It doesn't really matter which one you review, whichever one is the most convenient for you. All the reviews are good. But it says on my screen, it says error 404 not found. Go ahead and click on it anyway, and it'll open up and give you a Google page to review Schrock Innovations. All right, guys. Maybe the crate would be good for mining. Maybe not, Keith. All right. Have a great day. We'll see you next week, guys. Morning Blend, 9:35 tomorrow. We're going to be talking about, I don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. Probably the Microsoft update again. We're getting close, guys. Depending on when you watch this, you either got 3 weeks or 2 weeks left. So, it's getting real tight. We'll probably talk about that. All right. We'll see you again next Sunday for another edition of Compute This.